All right, guys, we have some major NFL draft rumors to dive into here in just a moment as Peter Schrager of ESPN dropped a bombshell report this morning. But I got a challenge for you guys. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL draft. We're just over 600 away. If you want free and daily NFL content and a ton of draft coverage this week, hit that subscribe button and let's go. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome in to Four Verts. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this show. Peter Schrager, now with ESPN, who gets some good draft scoops typically, dropped an interesting report on Get Up this morning saying that both the Browns and the Giants getting a lot of calls for those number 2 and number 3 picks. Here's what he had to say. Quote, "There have been phone calls made to both the Browns at 2 and the Giants at 3 with the intention to move up. Several different sources telling me there are teams looking to get up in this draft. The assumption being that these teams would be moving up for Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, or Ashton Jeanty. Those teams are not immediately slamming the phone down with the Browns at 2 and the Giants at 3. I think the 2 spot gets interesting if the Browns get a godfather deal." Right now, I'd be surprised if either team traded down, mostly because you're basically sacrificing the opportunity to get the clear top 2 players in this draft if you're Cleveland and or New York. Like, I understand if you get some monster offer and they're both QB needy teams, and that if they don't love this draft of quarterbacks, if they can get a first-round pick next year, I could understand it if that were the case. But unless you just get blown away, like Schrager said, a godfather deal, like, you're going to pass on Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter? Like, they're in a tier of their own in this draft. Now, I do think teams like to trade up for those 2 players because they are that good. Ashton Jeanty at 2 or 3, that seems like a tough sell, player I really like, but I'm not sure I buy that. Teams that I think could be looking to move up, Patriots at 4, for a lot of this draft process, they thought they were going to get Carter or Hunter, but since it seems unlikely Shedeur Sanders is going to go 2 or 3 to the Giants or Browns, maybe they'd like to try and move up and secure one of those players. The Raiders at 6. Could John Spytek, Pete Carroll go up and get a Travis Hunter to bring some excitement to Vegas, guy who can play both ways? The Bears at 10 have been rumored as a team that can move up. I don't know if they'd move up to 2 or 3, maybe 5 to Jacksonville, but maybe they want to take a swing and go to get a pass rusher like Abdul Carter. 49ers at 11. I think they could be a sneaky trade-up team because they're trying to get younger. They shedded some old contracts earlier this offseason. George Kittle and the Niners are reportedly far apart on a deal. Maybe they'd be willing to ship him out and try to move up in this draft for a cornerstone young piece. Dallas has not traded up in the first round since Morris Claiborne inside the top 10 way back in the day. Could Jerry Jones want to make a splash and go get a Travis Hunter? I wouldn't be completely shocked. And he actually told the media on Tuesday that there's 2 trades that they have been exploring between now and the draft. So keep an eye on that. But again, I just, if you're Cleveland or New York, are you going to pass up the opportunity to take Travis Hunter and or Abdul Carter? To me, you'd have to be blown away to make that decision. Who do you guys think is the better prospect in this draft? Do you think it's Abdul Carter? If so, type AC. Or do you think it's Travis Hunter? Obviously, I think it depends on fit. Overall, I would lean Travis Hunter because I think he is a true unicorn, but if you're a pass rush needy team, you would obviously take Carter over him. Speaking of pass rush, how about one of the top defensive linemen in this draft, Mason Graham? Could he be sliding down draft boards as we get closer to Thursday night? Adam Schefter doubling, tripling down today, adamantly reporting that the Jags are not going to take Mason Graham at 5. And that's been one of the kind of consensus picks for months now, it would seem. 9 out of 10 mock drafts that would come out from the national level, Mason Graham to the Jags, Mason Graham to the Jags, Mason Graham to the Jags. And Schefter today saying that is not going to be the player they pick. Now, it's smokescreen season. Teams deceive the media to kind of try and see where other dominoes could fall to maybe try and get another player to fall or to draw up trade interest. There could be a lot of reasons for this, but I do think it's pretty interesting that Schefter adamantly is saying that they are not going to take him. And, if you start to kind of piece together the puzzle here, we'll get to Cam Ward in a minute, but he is going to go number 1 to Tennessee. I still think Travis Hunter goes 2, Abdul Carter goes 3. A lot of buzz that the Patriots would take Will Campbell in that scenario. Maybe they'd be open to a trade down, but if not, I think they would opt to protect Drake May there. So then what do the Jags do at 5? Are they taking, if they're not taking Mason Graham, are they taking Ashton Jeanty? There's been buzz of that. There's been offensive line chatter. Kelvin Banks appears to be higher in NFL circles than the media, the outside, who's a little bit lower on the Texas offensive lineman. Could they take Armand Mimbu? What about Tyler Warren? Because to me, I look at Jacksonville, and if they're not taking Mason Graham, that tells me it's because they want to get an offensive weapon to get Trevor Lawrence back on track. Because you hire Liam Cohen, offensive guy. T-Law the last year and a half has not played well. If you're not going to take Mason Graham, who I think is the best player available in that situation, then you're probably going to take an offensive player to help Lawrence, whether it's Jeanty as a runner or, Banks or Mimbu as an offensive line to protect him. Could they take Tetero McMillan at number 5? That would be interesting as well. So we'll see what Jacksonville does. Kind of feels like that could be the first big domino in this draft. Adam Schefter calling them a wild card team yesterday, and today saying Mason Graham's not going to be their pick. So I don't think that one is as clear cut as it once felt earlier in this draft process. But we all know how it's going to start, and it was confirmed today. They didn't use Cam Ward's name, but Mike Borgonzi, the Titans general manager, told the media that we are consensus as a franchise. We are all on the same page. We are not trading the number 1 pick. We will be picking at number 1 overall. So Cam Ward, congratulations. You are a Tennessee Titan. They're going to take the quarterback out of Miami, who, I think is a flawed player. I think in last year's draft he would have been, if he had this season at Miami but was in last year's draft, obviously not based on what he did at Washington State last year, but if you could take what he did this year and put him into that class from last year, I think on the high end, he would have been the 4th quarterback taken after Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. And on the low end, 6 or 7, maybe he goes higher than Bo Nix, but I don't think he goes higher than J.J. McCarthy because he's 2 years younger. It seemed like Atlanta loved Michael Penix, so I think that would have stayed the same. I think Nix would have been the one wild card, but I think in this draft this year, Cam Ward is worth the swing. In a better draft at the top, I don't think he's a number 1 pick type of player, but I think in this draft where really the only elite prospects are Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, and then you have a next tier of Jeanty, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, Will Campbell, etc. I think you can justify it in this draft to take Cam Ward. You're not picking number 1 overall very often. It's not like Tennessee can trade down a few spots and get him. If they trade down even 2 spots, if they trade down with the Giants, they would take him. The Browns would take him at 2. So it's not like they can move back, get a little bit more, and still get the player because he's really the only quarterback that's worthy of a true first-round grade in this draft. Like Shedeur Sanders in a more loaded class, probably a late first, early second-round pick. So I think it's worth it if you're Tennessee. You don't have an answer at quarterback. It's not like they signed one of these good veterans. So Cam Ward is going to be the pick, and the Browns are on the clock. That's where things go from there. Okay, who do you guys think will be the second quarterback drafted this year? Will it be Shedeur? Will it be Jackson Dart? I've kind of started to lean. I think Dart could come off the board first, whether it's New Orleans at 9 or a team like New Orleans or the Giants trading back up into the teens, early 20s to come up and get him. But I do think it'll be one of those 2 guys. But if you have a hard prediction, let me know in the comments below. That's going to do it for this edition of 4 Verts. My final mock draft drops tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.